So when Clayton moved out to California, I guess I took whatever money I had. I think it was from when my dad died. I got $500. I bought a set of skis and I bought a ticket to LA to go see Clayton. Saw the parade on the TV while he was writing some software program, and then he's like, hey, we got about enough money for like a day in Disney or a couple of weeks in Mount Jacinto. And of course I picked the fucking mountains. And it was a pretty awesome experience, actually. We spent, I don't know, a little over 10 days in the woods. I spent 3 days with no food, got lost. I watched one of those I Survived shows. The trail that I got lost on, this couple got lost on and almost died and shit. We get back, car's dead. We call AAA, they jump start us, whatever. We're driving home, darkness, and all of a sudden pops up in the headlights is the old guy with the duffel bag thumbing his way through Death Valley. And he always stuck in my head, just a renegade wanderer, America's most wanted weirdo, who knows. But just being out there was incredible. Pictures that looked like postcards, and it didn't matter. It was all about, you know, clothes on your back, food in your stomach, and am I warm right now? Even New Hampshire or, Jefferson, where we go hiking. When I found that road, you needed a Jeep to get there. Those concrete bridges were made of logs, and, that parking lot was always empty. Now it's packed. And in some aspects, it saddens me, but in other aspects, I understand that the people who went there 20 years ago and had to make an effort of trying to get there appreciated what they were there at. Now, since it's been paved and you have concrete bridges, you'll have some douchebag from New York in a BMW taking pictures chasing a moose down the street, with no appreciation for really what they're doing and the fact that they're harassing the wildlife that now can't eat, and, because it's all stressed out. The only thing the human race has done in millions of years, or however long it is learn how to throw fucking rocks at each other, just better rocks. And I was seeing the sequoias, people got their names carved in it and stuff. I mean, like, can I go back to 1939 and slap this asshole? Really? I think we're arrogant to think that trees don't have something like we have, souls or feelings or something. Or that dogs can't communicate. Are you shitting me? I have better conversation with my dog than I do most people. At least he's genuine. And I hiked as much as I could. I mean, I had kids young, so that was like my peace of mind when I was in overload or I had no work. I figured, if I'm sitting here waiting for the phone to ring for a job to go to, I might as well sit in the woods. I'm eating the same food, spending the same money, except $20 in gas at the time. Being out there is, you get an idea of what the world is supposed to be like, not this thing that we fucked it into. And you realize you don't need much, and the little bit you have, the one little item you have adds a tremendous amount of comfort, Like if you're out there with nothing and you're freezing your nuggets off, well, shit, that dry pair of socks, it's fucking better than gold, man. It saved me and my kids. Home life sucked. Their mom was doing her thing, and it was a miserable place to be, and, so every weekend for about 2 years, we load in the truck, pick a spot on the map, and go. That was when me and Christine split. Tried to stay home for a long time. I had to fix it, I shattered my heel, right? I just got my hand out of a cast from surgery. I went out drinking with the cousins, and I decided to climb a pole and get the fucking World Cup soccer flag for them in front of City Hall in Cambridge, and the damn pole breaks, and I go down, I bash my heel, but I get back up and climb the damn thing anyway, right? And, we're all laughing and giggling, and I'm limping, and we get in the house, and they go over to Oma's, and I go into my apartment, and I go to bed, and the booze wears off, and the pain kicks in. She didn't move an inch. I tried to wake her up, and she was like, what the fuck did you do now? And I was like, screw this shit. And I crawled on my hands and knees down the 30-foot hallway, up the damn 12 steps, and I lifted my Harley with my left leg, which was the shattered one. When I lifted that bike, I was screaming so loud I saw the neighbor's lights coming on. And I get back a couple of days later, the woman who lived above us, like by 2 apartments above us, was like, I heard you, are you okay? And it hit me, Woman above us, 2 flights, could hear me. The woman next to me couldn't, or just didn't give a shit. That's when they say love is blind. You know the truth and you don't want to see it. And people, you'll learn a lot if a person loves you, if you're hurt and they have to deal with you. I was a foreman, made a lot of money. I made a lot of money for the company I worked for. I got up every morning at like 5, starting the crew at 7 really. But this morning I woke up like 4, a little early, and I was exhausted, didn't want to go. And I'm like, well, the bitch don't care if I live or die, so doesn't matter, you know. I didn't want to go to work that day, and like I said, the bitch doesn't care if I live or die. I don't think the kids will mind if I have a day off. And my work's laid out for my crew, so Rivers will make money, they don't give a shit. Called in sick, grabbed Dreyfus, hopped in the truck and drove to Mount Haystack, going up Lafayette. And I get on that outcrop and it's just so long. I was out of energy because I realized I didn't have nothing but cigarettes, coffee, and a couple of donuts in the past 3 days because, you know, mental trauma, food is the last thing on your mind. Fixing your life is the first. I sit down and it hit me that it was about a year and 9 months since I'd been hiking because I have to try to fix this kind of thing. And I ended up crying like a baby hugging trees because I forgot who I was. So when she left, you know, all the things in this life you don't want to lose, yourself has to be number one. When she left, I spent a lot of time going, all right, I lost me, and who the hell's Ian McMillan? And that's how Anna ended up in horses. That's how we became a hiking family. I went back to where I left off with myself. That's what always got me about Anna. Like, even when she joined the choir, she woke me up at like 6:30 in the morning. I want to join the choir today. She couldn't sign up till 11, so we had to sit in the church till then. But she woke up one morning, well, not one morning woke up, but pulled me aside and she's like, Dad, I want to go away to camp this year. Anna being Anna already had the camp and everything picked out. You know, it's this place in Vermont. And, you know, we did what we had to do so she could go. The kids there made fun of her because, you know, we clean our own house, basically, kind of thing. I guess it was a fucking rich kids camp, you know? And she's sending home cards and stuff. And, you know, the first couple of cards, you know, happy cards. And then, like, this third card or so, sad card with a big sad face at the end. And I'm like, oh, Jesus, you know? So, like, you look on the camp's website and they got all these gift packages. And I'm like, you gotta be shitting me. Like, I could buy a ticket to fucking California and back and still buy her that shit, you know? I'm gonna go make a little gift pack, throw the dogs in the truck, grab Stacy, drive up there, see my daughter, and on the way back, spend a night or two in the woods. And we drive up there and, you know, where's Anna kind of thing. And here comes Anna from the beach with like a herd of kids behind her. We see her and whatnot, and then she spends another week out there, and I come up to pick her up, and I'm looking for Anna, and there's the little girl who it was like right up Anna's ass when that herd was following her around. You know, I'm like, hey, Snugglebuggle, grab your stuff. And I'm up there to pick her up now, and I figure, let's spend the night in the woods with my daughter on the way home, right? Because we're up there. And I said, listen, we might do some hiking on the way back if you're good with that. And the look on that girl's face was disbelief, and like her jaw hit the floor, and almost like, what it was is we get in the car, and Anna's like, that's the girl who was like the ringleader who gave me the worst time. Told Anna that Anna was lying because, you know, she doesn't go hiking with her dad and stuff like that. And then Anna gets into it a little deeper, and it turns out like the girl lives in Europe. Her mom's on a cruise, her dad's business in Italy, and she's gonna go, when she gets out of camp, spend the last couple of weeks of the season at her grandmother's and not see her parents, and then off to boarding school. And it realized at that point that I felt like really bad for the girl, you know? Because, you know, we don't have money, you know? But money's just fucking money. It's just a tool. And I have time, and I can give time if I can't give money, and that's the one thing that girl wanted. Out of all the money she might have had, she just wanted a moment of time. And that's, you know, time is more important than money. You can't make more of it. You can't save any of it. When it's up, it's up. You know, you can't borrow any time, you know? Well, happy people, I think, are just happy for what they have. Unhappy people always want more. I've seen some poorest of my life, I was the happiest. Like, I went to Black Friday once after Annette's house. I was absolutely appalled. There were better manners at a UN food truck with starving, dying people than there were at fucking Walmart for absolute ridiculous crap. You know, and I've seen homeless guys convinced they were retired, you know, perfectly happy. Yeah, well, he was crazy. You know, I mean, you gotta add that factor in there somewhere, but you can wake up one day and, oh my God, my world sucks. My wife left, my kids are, you know, hurting, and, you know, we don't have 2 nickels to scratch our ass with. Or you can wake up and be like, you know what? I got no one to argue with while I try to raise these kids alone. And I did everything anyway. The only thing that really left was the misery. You know, I'd wake up perceiving things one way one day and being all depressed, and wake up perceiving things another day and actually feel like there was hope in the future. Your mom says to me once, you know, it's always about the numbers. You walk to a cemetery, it's the date this asshole was born and the date this asshole died. And everybody forgets it's all really about the dash in the middle. I used to take Vicky when I was still together with Christine before Anna was born. We'd go up in somewhere in Maine, right along 16 in New Hampshire. We'd canoe down the Saco. And at one point I'm sitting there and, you know, Snuggle Buggle's up on the front seat. Vicky's up holding the paddle, but she's no bigger than a minute. So she's, you know, I'm just praying she doesn't drop the paddle. I got Christine and Gretchen sitting in the middle of the canoe, smoking cigarettes, talking, you know, doing the girly girl thing. And you got Tom Pollack in the back in one of them little floating fucking rubber tube thingies with, like, you know, drinking beer. And I got a wooden oar, and I'm paddling all this shit, and this oar is bending like hell, and I'm feeling it cracking, and I'm like, this thing's not even that old, and it feels like it's gonna break, and then it hit me. It's like the story of my life. The only guy paddling up creek with a half-broken fucking paddle, and everybody else is perfectly content floating through life like a lump of shit in the toilet, you know? And while I do all the goddamn work, it was just really metaphor. It was kind of like a hell of a metaphor for me while I was in the middle of it. Yeah. For everybody but me. You know, but yeah. The CEO of New England Water Heater was sitting in a sauna. Some of my best business deals were made with no clothes on, but, you know, what can I say? But, you know, I tell him, you know, I lived in a tow yard, all the teeth punched out of my head, addicted to crack for 3 years of my fucking life. And he's like, why would you tell anybody that? And my only response is, why should I be ashamed? That's nothing to be ashamed of. In fact, that's a badge of honor. I made it through that. I'm stronger than the man standing next to me, or the one who couldn't make it through, or the one who's never had that experience and wants to preach all the fuck about it, but's never had that experience and has no idea what they're talking about.